What is going on, folks? Welcome to another episode of Season 3 Buzzcast Podcast. I said that twice. So, we're going to be reviewing The Exorcist the Believer. So, this is a big spoiler warning. This is a big spoiler warning. So, just to let y'all know ahead of time, we're going to be talking about it from beginning to end, what we like, what we didn't like, what was not needed, and we're just gonna be going down and dirty in this movie. So again, spoiler alert, you've been warned. Let's get around to that, shall we? What is up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Buzzcast. Like I mentioned, we are gonna be talking about The Exorcist the Believer, and like it was shown in the very beginning with here next to my wife. We're going to be discussing The Exorcist the Believer. We went the night of the premiere.
On Thursday, yeah.
It was on a Thursday, premiere night. It was thanks to... Who got me that as a gift?
My brother.
Was Jerry? Okay. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Jerry, if you catch this. We need some more opinions on this because he was there as well, and we need more opinions because this movie, dude, it was out on Friday, not counting premiere night, and that same Friday, and this part kind of sort of gets to me. Like, there's always spoilers the day of the movie comes out. I don't know if that bothers you.
No, not really.
No?
I'm
just the type of person that, like, I don't like spoilers. So you know I'm not into spoilers. And I treat you guys the same way. So the movie, I mean, the beginning of the movie, the way it starts off, it opens up in, I cannot remember the place they were at.
In the very, very beginning.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. But when it comes to me, I will say it.
What was it, like a type of market type of thing?
No, the place, the actual, like in general, it was I can't remember. But basically that beginning part was kind of sort of like a call out to the very first Exorcist, because if you remember the first Exorcist, when what are they called? Those people, the geologists? Is that what it's called? Or is that what they're called? Let's just say yes. So
I know this word. I swear I do, but my brain's
it's a call out to the first Exorcist, because in the first Exorcist, they're out in the middle of wherever the fuck.
Archaeologists.
Yes, those people.
Paleontology? No, that's something else.
That's something else. And they're out, and they're like, they discover the giant statue, the one that's like, yeah. Well, it's like a call out to that. I kind of got that from the very beginning. I don't know if you caught that.
No, it just looks like she was on some sort of market or something.
And that's what I got from the very beginning part of the movie, the introduction, I guess, if you will, and the scene where there's that earthquake. It was well done. It didn't feel like it added to the story, because it was the character. Let me get the character names here for you guys. The main characters in the very beginning are Tanner, which is the father of Angela, which is the girl that gets possessed, or one of the girls that get possessed.
And her mommy.
And the mom. In the beginning, Angela's still in the mother's stomach. And
the blessing thing, right?
Yes, the mother gets a blessing from some sort of, what was she, like a witch? It wasn't a priest.
No, just, what was she?
I don't know. But there was a blessing taking
like those
place.
people that do like cleanses and, like,
yeah,
that type of, with the sage and
the sage.
You know what I'm talking
about?
We're Mexican, we do that.
Yes. Every night before bed.
The huevo.
And
They clean us with an egg.
the cinto. Oh no, it's something else.
That's misbehave.
That's, that's when the spirits are misbehaving.
Emily.
Damn, Emily.
The ghost.
And that yeah, the mother gets a blessing from some spirit
Someone.
some spiritual whatchamacallit. And you might want to keep that in
A
mind
healer?
because that's a well, oh yeah, we can call it a healer. We can call it a healer. You might want to keep that in mind because that's kind of like it ties into the ending part of the movie. And so they're there to get the blessing happens, and then the earthquake happens, and tragedy hits. The mom isn't so lucky. Yeah. Again, this you were warned at the beginning. The mother gets crushed by what's it called? Because the building collapses and there's debris, and it's bad. It's real
Mhm.
bad. She doesn't make it out for the reason that she's pregnant. She's slow, and she was by herself to make matters worse. The guy wasn't there.
His. Well,
He was like taking shots because he's a photographer. The dad was a photographer. He was taking shots of something by himself.
weren't they in bed when that happened?
No, she wasn't. She was in the room by herself because she was too tired to walk on account of she's pregnant.
Did we watch the same movie? I remember them both being in bed. Why?
No, it was just her though.
Oh wow! I didn't
Yeah.
pay attention.
You know,
Saw this like 2 days ago. I'm telling you, man, it's the mom brain.
see,
I
it's
don't
not just
sleep.
me with bad memory, so it's
No,
like
I have terrible memory, but to be fair, I get almost no sleep and I have a baby. Okay, leave me alone.
and so yeah, the
So she
mom
dies.
she dies. She dies.
Well,
It's sad.
he's given the option now to save,
There wasn't. I was actually gonna get to that, and then the
but they never explain what he chose. It just
no, the medics picked them up, and the medic explains to them that there's a situation where he has to decide whether to save the mother or save the child,
who would you pick?
and they didn't leave it at that. I don't know. Don't put me in that spot right now. Okay, they leave it at that. There was no answer. And then it cuts. Fast forward years later, the dad's a widow, right? That's the right term.
Yeah.
The widow, and the Angela, older teenager, going to high school. Was it? I want to say it was high school or middle school. No, they were middle school. They were like 12 or something. I think that was the age that they were. Mm-hmm. Right? Am I right? They weren't. They
Honestly,
weren't
I don't know.
teenagers just yet. But anyways, fast forward. Uh, Tanner, the dad, making breakfast, whatever. They're playing around before going to school, taking her to school, kind of like our mornings where we have our little issues with our little girls, trying to take them to school. I guess it's just like a kid thing, right? And so yeah, they're getting ready for school. They get dropped off. As they're getting dropped off, we get introduced to the second character, the second possessed girl, which is Catherine, which
We meet the neighbor first.
was it? Oh yeah, it was very subtle. It was very subtle
Yeah,
though.
like the mean neighbor. that's
Angela and
complaining about
Tanner's
the-
neighbor, she's like upset because he hasn't brought in his trash and recycles in like I don't know how long. But that's all she
Is that
says.
really why she was mad?
That's what she's that's what
Oh,
she
I knew
says
it
in
had
the
to do
movie.
with I knew it had to do with the trash cans, but I was like, man,
Yeah,
whiny
it was
lady.
that. It was like very subtle.
But technically, like that's the next character we
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was
And-
the neighbor first. We'll get more into her.
and then the dad.
The neighbor because
No, so we meet the neighbor, and then
you
we
meet both neighbors. The one with that had problems with the trash, and then there's the mom, the Catherine's dad.
But he's not a neighbor. He's
Oh wait, no, he was someone else. He was somebody else. Yeah, I remember. He was the guy that later on in the movie shows up with his friend who was doing the thing and
But
room.
isn't that the husband of the neighbor? that had a problem with the trash
No,
cans?
she was by herself.
Oh, I thought that was her husband.
Wow.
Well, because who was that
Let
random?
me tell you.
Because some random guys just appears out of nowhere. So I'm like, where'd this guy come from? They never say he's a neighbor, do they? Like,
Yeah, it's
they do
the next door neighbor, which is the I'm just gonna go ahead and say we've been bringing it up like 5 times already. She's the that used to be a nun, and then there's the other guy.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is a spoiler. And there's
The other girl.
the other guy,
The other
which
sorry.
again we brought him up like 3 or 4 times. The other guy is the one that ended up bringing that
healer lady or whatever.
yeah, the voodoo lady or whatever.
Yes.
So now we're up to speed.
And then you see the dad. What's her name? The other little girl's dad.
We see Catherine's parents and Catherine at the drop off at school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Catherine.
Yes. That's probably the most freakiest part of this movie for us is because that's our daughter's name. So yeah, we get a small glimpse of the neighbors, and then we get introduced to the Catherine character. You see them dropping Catherine off with her brother, sister. They're like rowdy, they're fighting these typical sibling fights.
But before all this, Angela asks if she can do after school. If she can go.
Oh, that's right. They had their own little plans in mind.
Catherine's house.
To Angela to Catherine's to Angela.
No, Catherine to somebody else's.
Oh, it wasn't like that then?
So Catherine asked for permission to go to Tabitha's house or something like that. I don't remember what the name. I don't remember
Tabitha's name.
Because do you remember when the dad calls them to look for her and they're like, no, they're not. She's not here. So then they end up calling that other little girl, and the other little girl's the one that tells them that they went off.
No, but they called the school though.
No, they called that other girl to ask if they were at her house. Who wasn't paying attention?
So obviously we don't pay very much attention. It's not that we don't pay much attention. It's just like it's a lot of information to keep, and things just kind of crosswire. Well, I think that's my thing. No, okay. I feel like something's frying in your head right now.
It always is.
And so they have their own little plans of their own. Later on, we do find out. I mean that. Their plan is to go into the woods and play with things that they're not supposed to. That involves like a necklace and just
trying to communicate.
Yeah, and Angela's plan, because of her past, her mother passing away, her plan was to try to communicate with her mother. And as far as possession movies and horror movies and all those kind of religion kind of horror movies go, it's never a good thing to do that.
Well, to be fair, I mean, it's not a good idea to do that, but to be fair, the reason why it didn't work the way it should have worked, do you remember why it didn't work the way it should have worked?
No, refresh my memory.
Because she needed something that belonged to the mother or something like that, and so that's why she was taking the scarf, but the dad took it away from her, so she didn't have anything connecting her to the mom.
That's right.
So she basically opened that portal, but didn't have that connection to bring forth the mother. So instead, it
might also have to do with the fact that they did it in a very sketchy like hole in the ground in the middle of fucking.
I know, right? Like, couldn't they just do it at somebody's house or something? The backyard, maybe.
Yeah, but this was Catherine's parents, how they were super religious.
Well, yeah, but the dad, like Angela's dad, like he didn't show up till later. Like she could have just asked for permission. She was gonna be home alone anyway. She could have just asked for permission for the friend to go over.
You have a point there. We found a little loophole in the movie.
You could have just done it at the house before the dad showed up.
We found a loophole in the movie. So
because he shows up and he's like, no, what's
he got home like,
where are you, Angela?
He got home at dinner time, like he said,
and she wasn't there.
Yeah.
So couldn't like, Dad, she's coming over. She might have dinner with us. I don't know.
We found the loophole, guys.
Come on, kids.
We found the loophole, and okay, so we went a little off there.
She wouldn't have even needed to steal the scarf because she would have been home. Could have just gotten it right there.
True.
Could have avoided this whole movie.
that is our job to find stuff like to find stuff like this. But like she mentioned, she could have done that. She could have done that. But
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right?
yeah, so instead they went into the woods, deep in the woods,
Allowed themselves to get possessed.
in the hole that could have been possibly something along the lines of a satanic cult kind of situation thing going on. Because the stuff that came out, I'm gonna show here. If you are just listening in, just think of if you have seen the movie, just think of those flashbacks that happened. I'm gonna show the image here. This is the imagery that kind of kept popping in and out as they were doing the whole communication part, and those parts are kind of sort of reminding me also of the Exorcist.
The face.
Not so much of the, I can't remember his name. There's a name to that demon, but not so much of that. But there was little flashes here and there. But
That kind of looked like Reagan.
Kind of, in a way, yeah. You're right. And yeah, just shit hit the fan so bad for them in that hole, and then
But you don't know what happened. Just
well, they didn't show it till later, so we'll just fast forward onto that part. So they
disappear.
they what?
Disappear.
Or to the parents, they did. They
because they have no recollection of what happened.
Yeah,
they were gone for 3 days.
Yeah, they were found later on. There was a whole search party. They were being searched for 3 days. For 3 days they were missing, and they show up in a barn again somewhere deeper in. I think they said it was like 30 miles more in from the woods from
with their feet
their stuff were found in their backpacks and whatnot, and they were found by one of the farm owner's kid, just like inside of the barn where the pigs or the goats and stuff were at. And I think I might have something about that. That's not it. I will get to that eventually. They're so small. I can't.
Spoiler within the spoiler.
I know, right? Here we go. So they were found in the barn by one of the farmer's kid, completely wet from rain, and just their feet look like they've been walking like for miles. Their nails are completely hanging by a thread.
Really?
And yeah. And then they take them into the hospital, and that's where the dad of Angela,
scared.
Yeah, the dad of Angela comes into the hospital, and one of the what are they called? Investigators tells Angela to tell her father exactly what she told her, the investigator, and she goes, "Oh no!" The dad asks, "Oh no, I'm sorry." The inspector asks, "How long do you think you've been gone?" She goes, "Like what? Like 5 minutes or like something like that."
Didn't she say a couple of hours?
Yeah, a couple of hours. The dad responds with, "Babe, you've been gone for like 3 days," and it's like that part. That part was probably that was cool. That as far as like the whole beginning part of the movie, that was like okay, well delivered. At some point,
the scariest part of the movie happens there.
Yeah, because that's where
that's where we all jumped.
Why? What was one of the jump scares?
When they're in the hospital and she's like bangs on the window.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's another thing I should probably mention. This has a little bit more jump scares than it should,
and it'll only make you jump there. That was it.
Yeah, I should probably, again, this is a spoiler. There's a lot of jump scares in this movie.
I think that's the only part that made us all jump because, like, you weren't expecting it to happen there. But like when everything else is happening, you're kind of expecting those jump scares, so you're kind of ready for them. But in that scene, nobody was ready for. I wasn't even paying attention, and then sorry, I'm over here like. I'm just looking like, okay, where's my popcorn? And then, poof,
So there you have it.
I thought nothing interesting was going to happen.
You thought what?
I thought nothing interesting was gonna happen, and then it's like super loud bang.
And there you go. So yes, it's revealed that they've been gone for 3 days, and then that's where they do
They test them.
they test them for like everything, including that thing where when the victims are like get raped and stuff.
Oh yeah, they check to make sure
They do all of that from everything in the book,
she's fine. They're
and
fine.
everything cleared out, which was the most awkwardest thing for everybody because gone for 3 days, no recollection of where they've been, how long they've been gone, and again, that's like in reality that's just not right. It's not real, right?
Mhm.
But that's where it starts, and then that she mentions the first, or that's one of the first.
For me, it was the only time I made me jump. But yeah.
Is one of the first jump scares, and that's when you see it. I think it was Angela's character, if I'm not mistaken, where she bangs on the glass and just cracks and says that she can go home now.
Yeah, the other little girl was also saying. Catherine was also saying she wanted to go home. I think she looked scarier than Angela at the hospital. She had more of like a blank expression, and
Yeah, you did notice it more on Angela's character. In fact, I think I mean, as the movie progresses, you know how they start looking worse and worse. She looked like she was already on stage too. You know what I mean?
Angela was still in the beginning.
Yeah. That's kind of what it looked like.
Well, yeah, even at the hospital.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought Angela's character. I thought the only possessed one was gonna be the other. I didn't watch the preview. I thought the only possessed one was gonna be Catherine.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching it and then Angela cracks the glass, I was like, oh, it's in her too.
And it's funny because I showed you the thing too.
You did?
Yes, I did.
I don't remember.
You can watch that on Patreon.
Wait, you really did? Wow.
Yeah.
I saw them both.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought maybe just like I don't know why. I just assumed that like at the beginning only Catherine was possessed.
Well, to her surprise, it was both.
Oh no, you know what? You're right, because I remember the part where they're both sitting in the chairs. That comes on the preview, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was girl number 2. That was possessed girl number 2. That
Where
you said, the one that scared you. Anyways,
you know, how my brain is. I'm sorry. I have way too many things in my mind all the time. So sorry.
Parent brain, I guess.
Yes.
So, shit, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah.
So they go home.
Yeah, they finally go home, and as you can probably tell,
Angela pees herself.
That's right. Angela pees herself in the
And
next
when shit hits the fan.
next morning.
No, the night. No.
The next in the morning. It was morning because he wakes up, makes her like his big breakfast. Brings the breakfast to bed, and then still asleep in bed, and then notices that everything's completely all wet. Like everything. It's not like just like a spot. It's almost like the entire bed. He picks her up, takes her to the bathroom, tells her to like clean up. And then
she attacks him.
No, before that, he's running water in the tub, and it's black water. And he's like, "What in the shit is this?"
And then she attacks him.
Mm-hmm. She smacks him with something. She grabs something, she smacks him in the face with it, runs off, and then drops to the ground and starts having a seizure.
Yeah, and then they rush her to the hospital.
And then rush her back to the fucking hospital once again. Same thing happens to Catherine. I don't know if it was around the same time, but they both end up going to the hospital.
Oh yeah, they both end up in the hospital. No, Catherine was a church thing.
Yeah, but it was again. I don't know if it happened at the same time.
It was that whole church thing, and from there they go to the hospital, and that's where they bump into.
The church thing is probably the coolest part of the trailer, and That was probably my only issue with the trailer was that they revealed too much.
The trailer was cooler than the movie.
I can agree with that.
The trailer was
They
cooler
pumped
than the movie.
they pumped everything they got into the
put-
trailer.
Yeah, and then you're just, oh, I basically already saw the whole movie.
Yeah, just watch the
Just
trailer.
watch the trailer. That's a movie.
And you know what the movie's
without
about.
the ending.
There's an ending to it, and I'm gonna get to that. But so they're both ended up at the hospital. Angela having a seizure in her house. Catherine being a religious person. Their families at church, and in the morning, and you know it's morning because Angela had just gone out of bed, and these people were at church, and she's already looking all sorts of fucked up, and I believe she's even masturbating in the church too. I remember that too. And her little brother and her sister are just looking at her like,
yeah. They were just staring at her like, what the
fuck is she doing?
And then when the parents go get the body of Christ,
The body and the blood.
Thing, yes, that's when they go do the wine and the thing.
Yeah.
She disappears, right? Like she leaves.
She goes into the back, completely drenches herself in
in the wine.
Wine, and comes out from the entrance of the church, walking down the aisle,
saying that the trailer.
Yeah, the line, the body and the blood. Except I was expecting the possessed demon voice like in the trailer. That didn't happen. I was a little disappointed in that. Other than that, it was awesome. When I first saw that,
was a pretty good actress.
Yes, the Catherine character.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, I think Catherine and Angela kind of outdid herself. I was worried about that because in the trailer, I got like this little kid trying really hard to be scary, but it's more like adorable because it looks like they're really trying. But they surprised me.
They both did good, but I think I liked Catherine's. Like that little girl just like creeped me out. Like, do you know what I mean?
I thought they were both good. I thought they were both good at it.
I think no, you know what it is? Like Catherine just looked more messed up from like the beginning of everything.
Yeah, like I said, since the beginning part of the first stage, it looked like she's already skipped to 2 and 3, and Angela was like barely like in the human form stage.
So I think that's what creeped me out. Not, I mean, really didn't really creep me out, but I think that's like like whoa, you know?
Yeah,
like she was from the get go. You knew something was off about her.
Yeah, so yeah, I will say that they did surprise me. I was not expecting for them to do like I wasn't expecting the worst out of them, but they really did surprise me as far as like the acting goes.
Look at her right there.
The what? What's that? Oh, that's right. Yes, the one on her left, y'all's right. And so yeah, that's like the I was gonna say when I first saw the trailer and I saw the Catherine character walking down the aisle saying those lines, I was like, this is some next level possession shit because I mentioned this in the second trailer review, if I'm not mistaken, where as far as like possession, religion, horror movies go, she should have not been able to go in or combusted or like lost her shit or something. But she was in there like
nothing.
Yeah. That was freaky. I will say that part is freaky. Like something should have happened to her, but it didn't. So that part was awesome. And then she also combusts there on the church, and then they both end up at the hospital. Again, I'm not sure if it was at the same time. Probably was, but
well, maybe but Angela was there before.
Yeah, she was the first one.
Her dad was trying to get something from the vending machine when she saw them.
Yeah. Let's just say this all happened in the morning. All happened in the morning.
Early in the morning, the possession began.
Early in the morning, rising to
possession.
And fast forward,
how did Angela end up in the? Did I forget this? How did she end up in the insane asylum?
Her dad books her in, but that was
But
like
why?
a little bit
Like,
after.
yeah. So what happens from the point where they were in the
Because he
hospital? What
because
did I miss?
he's not religious, and he questions it and stuff, and so he just thinks that his daughter's like losing her shit.
But
So he kind of like sort of like, you know what, I'm
no,
just
but there's
gonna,
something that prompts him to take her there.
because he's tried everything. He even tried the religious route, and he says it doesn't work for him. So he's like, I'm just gonna put her in the loony bin
No, but
because
something
I don't know what to
happens,
do.
and then he puts her in the loony bin.
Uh, this was after he had the conversation with Catherine's parents. Being that Catherine's parents are religious, they're like, this is the part that kind of got to me a little bit. Like, well, I'll explain why. After they both are booked back into the hospital, uh, Catherine's parents and Angela's dad are outside, and they're talking about what it is that can happen. And the Catherine's dad saying something about some doctors mentioned that it could be hormones or something like that. And Angela's dad goes, "You think that all this has to do with puberty? You think this is puberty to you?" And then the mom and Catherine's mom goes, "No, there's something wrong. Like whatever those girls did in those woods, like they brought it back with them." I'm sorry, no, that was the dad. And then the mom adds on by saying, "This is possession," and that's when Angela's dad looks at her and with his face like, "For reals?" And then she goes, "This is just exactly like it mentions in the Bible. That Jesus went to hell to
Oh, for the 3 days.
yeah, that he comes back after 3 days, just like our girls." And him being a non-believer, and the the hospital couldn't help them, science couldn't help him. He's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put her in the loony bin. I can't do anything for her. He basically gave up.
I thought something. Why do I
So
remember?
that's basically what happened. He just gave up. And then that's we went a little fast forward, but we're right on track. And then that's when the next door neighbor, because the next door neighbor happens to be a nurse that works at the hospital that both of the girls were booked at. She saw them from the first time they were in to the second time. Um, and you know what? There's a part that we missed. I'm gonna back up a little bit where the dad, Angela's dad, asked her, "Have you ever seen anything like this?" Doesn't answer. Fast forward back to the whole him giving up and booking. Sorry about that. Booking Angela to a loony bin. She goes up to him and tells her, "Remember that you asked me if I ever seen this before? Well, I haven't, but I know people who have."
And that's when she gives him the book.
Yes.
And that's when she tells him, because Angela, there was like they had like that moment at the hospital where she called her sister Mary,
Yeah.
and then blood started coming out.
Mhm.
And that was something that she hadn't told anybody, that she was going to become
Out
a
of
nun.
out of her no areas.
Yeah, that she was going to become a nun, but then she ended up not. She picked a name, but she didn't ever tell anybody what it was, and yet she knew it. And then she also had an abortion, and so
That Angela character also knew.
So that's what she tells the dad.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of like gets him to be like, okay,
Yeah.
like how would she have known that?
Yeah.
If like she never told anybody.
Like according to the nurse character, she's never spoken that to anybody. And
That's what prompts him to go visit the lady who wrote the book.
that's what prompts him, and the fact that, you know, he kind of, you know, he was already giving up, so he had nothing else to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Then he turns to the book, and then he reads it, and he sees the book reads stuff that he has seen that Angela is showing, that exactly from the book.
The help me.
The scratching, the help me being scratched on the body, the ability to be able to know things that nobody fucking knows, the superhuman strength,
Just all this stuff.
just everything that he read on the book. He was like, "Oh crap, this needs to be like, I need to look back into this." And so
bam, he goes to see her.
he travels and goes to see None other than the OG character from the very first movie, uh, Ellen, which is who plays Chris,
Chris.
who is the mother of Reagan, the first girl who was first possessed in the first Exorcist movie. And that's kind of the part where I went like, yes, it was cool the fact that she was involved, but at the same time, it felt forced
Why did it feel forced?
because but we should probably get a little bit more into it because like, or should I just say it?
Just say it.
Okay, I'll just say it. So if to me it feels a little bit forced on account of that, this movie feels like the big movie company had just put their hands on, and they were like, okay, we're gonna give you this some amount of money and you can do it however you want it, but because I'm paying for it, I get to do whatever I want with it. And what I think we should do is put in her because she was in the first Exorcist movie. And the Ellen didn't even look like she even want to be in the movie, to be quite honest with you. Yes.
Maybe she's just a terrible actress.
No, she's good.
She forgot.
she's great at what she does, and I love her in the first Exorcist movie, but it kind of sort of stay like that. And if they
well,
were,
to be fair, acting changed from back then to now.
no, it's not even so much the acting.
So maybe she just didn't want to. I don't know.
It's not even so much the acting. It's just that if you were gonna bring somebody in from the first movie,
How do you know she didn't want to be a part of it?
just something, just I don't know. The entire thing of her being in there felt forced. But anyways, we're gonna go on with that. So, Angela's dad travels to her home, finds her home, and before we get into that, you know what I thought about that when he left her possessed daughter to travel to find this person?
She left her in the loony bin.
Yes.
He left her.
Yes, but if you're familiar with possession movies, the rule is if the demon stays for too long inside of the body, it dies completely. That's why they had to move fast. And this dude took a trip to go find. You know what I mean? I thought that when
he
when
didn't
that
know that, and maybe the rules are different.
I don't know, but that's
the rules
like
are different in this.
that's what
movie.
I thought when I saw that part. I'm like, this dude took a short. There we go. This dude took a short vacation
Or
to
maybe
go
it was
to
only
find
like,
help. But
maybe it was only like an hour away, and he was like, "Hey, you know what? It's close by. Let me go."
well, they never said the distance, but I that's
Exactly.
exactly what I thought. I'm like,
They never said the distance. Maybe they lived in the same area.
well, maybe, but still, it's like
But
I
it
know.
didn't take that long from when they found them to when everything kind of happened. It was maybe like a few days or so. I think Reagan was possessed for longer.
Dude, if I don't remember how long that was, but okay.
Yes, they did all sorts of studies and this and that and blah blah blah. And
Oh, you're thinking part 2.
what? No. The Exorcist, the original Exorcist. When Reagan first started talking to whatever it is that first possessed her, it took days before she got to show the symptoms that these girls were showing.
We'll meet halfway and say they took the same amount of time.
Why?
Just for the sake of the argument.
Why the same amount of time?
The what?
It wasn't the same amount of time.
Well, I don't know. Let's just say it was. Okay, so the Angela's dad travels to get the Chris character, and he explains to her that he read the book, and that basically he just needed another what's the word, just another form of help. And because of what happened to her and Reagan in the first movie, she
wrote the book and Reagan didn't like it, so they stopped talking.
Yes.
She hadn't seen her little girl. She even mentions that.
But the reason why she wrote the book is because she traveled all around the world to study different religions, different rituals that help with these kind of situations, how to handle it, and so on and so forth. So she did her research for, I think she said in the movie, about 10, 15 years, something like that, just doing nothing but research on this. And then that's where she brings up the whole Reagan never liking that because she never like the idea of her, putting it out there.
The book, yeah. So she says something about, when will I see my daughter's face again?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it's never. No.
But so they sit down and he explains his situation. He even brings pictures and shows it to her and stuff like that. And she agrees to help. She comes back with him. They go into the loony bin where Angela's at. And
she's like, she knows who I am.
Yeah, I was about to say it. That's where that one liner comes in. She knows who I am. And that's another thing about the movie. That's like, I don't know. I think that's kind of sort of what made it feel forced.
Does she know who I am?
I don't know. It's hard to put into words, but it did feel a little forced to me. But there's a couple of things in there that I kind of didn't agree with either. But and then she asked, where's the other girl? And at the time, Catherine
she was at home. That's why she was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And they run over there.
That was kind of like the hugest that's where it starts getting even worse, because it might have to do with the fact that Catherine's parents are super religious, and they're like, we'll just handle this with prayer situation, since no, it's okay. Since nobody was able to tell him exactly what was going on with Catherine at the hospital, so they bring her home. And
well, they kind of knew.
They knew. They didn't, to what extent. And then Angela's dad and Chris go. I'm calling her by her actual name.
Mm-hmm.
Ellen. It's Ellen. The Ellen character. Ellen and Tanner.
No, it's Chris.
Oh, was I? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I got that mixed up. So Chris, Ellen Burson, who's playing Chris. So Chris, I'm doing it right. Chris and Tanner go. They haul so much ass to Catherine's place, and that's where they discover that the entire place has been robbed, and that's where the movie takes another turn. No, I'm kidding.
It's just trash.
I'm kidding. It did not get robbed. And it did. It resembled it though. So
technically their daughter's soul was robbed.
Anyways, they were robbed of their family member. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go, and the place is completely trashed, and they find Catherine's dad just like huddled in a corner in the dark somewhere. And then they find Catherine on the bed holding the Bible, eating pages off of it.
That's what she was doing?
Yeah, she was eating them. Which I find that a little bit weird, but whatever. And then that's where Chris' character walks in by herself. That was one of the first mistakes that I noticed. I'm like, oh, nope. I'm like, no. Get out of there, Sponge. Get out of there. And she goes on there by herself because she's so confident, because she studied all of this. She's looked into it. So she's like, I guess she felt ready to take on this thing on
Boy, was she wrong.
Boy. God damn it. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So she goes up to the possessed Catherine, and she goes, "Are you looking for Reagan?" And she repeats that over and over.
Something about Reagan being dead or something like that.
Yeah. She basically tells her that Reagan's in hell. And then she lay on her back on the bed. And again, tribute to the first Exorcist, the bed starts to shake. Which is exactly how the possession of Reagan happened. The bed
started shaking first.
That's where Chris is like kind of like, shit, like she's reliving it again in front of her. And then to make matters worse, how she mentioned that she has no idea where Reagan is at, and the demon telling her, oh, she's in hell with us, and then recreating that moment again for her.
I was trying to freak her out, but I think she
kept her faith.
She kept her faith.
She was like, nah,
you're bullshit. That's what you do. They bullshit.
Yeah. So she started chanting some prayers here and there. The demon goes down into a corner, but comes back up and grabs a cross that I have already knocked over since the beginning of their encounter, and just completely goes to town on Chris's eyeballs. That part I did not fucking expect. In the trailer they made it seem like Chris was going to be the hero, like the Avenger in this movie. And then they just like,
and it ended
boom,
up being
boom.
somebody else.
Yes. It was that part I was like, whoa, like fuck, that was a big surprise to me. So that's where like, okay, maybe this could take a turn for the better after I saw that. And what's it called? So she's out of the picture, and how much did we fast forward here?
Well, she's in the hospital, and the dad goes to visit her. They basically take matters into their own hands because the church won't help them.
Yes.
Basically.
Oh, there's that Hispanic priest that's there since the very beginning.
And he's trying to get the Catholic Church to approve an exorcism.
Yeah.
So everybody's real confident because they think he's gonna go, and they sedate the girls.
Yeah.
Nail chairs down. You know what you see in the trailer where they're sitting down, right?
Yeah. They freaking drill the girls down to chairs, and then
the priest is coming, and everyone's excited because he's here.
Oh, the one of the neighbors, we skipped the part. One of the neighbors, when the girls that are missing, he brings over that girl, that voodoo girl, as I'm calling her, and what's it called? Let me see. Yeah, so before any of that, the voodoo girl was brought in by the neighbor. Again, this is while they were missing for those 3 days. We skipped that part. We see her come back again because again
he asks her.
Yes, he asks her, or he asked him. He asked him because it was the guy neighbor who brought her in.
Yeah, but no, he went to go find her at a graveyard, remember? And he asked her what she was doing.
Oh, he asked where he can meet her or find her, and then that's where they met up.
Yeah. So then she's there too.
Yeah. We got the girl who does, I'm calling it voodoo because I'm not entirely sure what it is.
But that's when he goes back to the hospital to visit Chris. That's her name, right? And then she tells him the whole thing about people coming together.
That's one of the parts that I was going to get at and say that part was unnecessary.
But why was it unnecessary?
It was unnecessary because it was, first of all, she already explained what she did, what she studied, and all the different religions.
Yeah, but now she's talking
rituals.
about how they can all come together, and for like a purpose. Like they're all kind of at the end of the day.
No, she didn't say that. She was just explaining herself.
But that's kind of how but that's kind of what she meant. Like as in, like at the end of the day, it's like all those types of religious or whatever the hell you believe in. It all, like, what it does is it brings people together. So because there were so many different beliefs there, because there was Christians, Catholics, that other lady, so there was like different beliefs. It was him who didn't really believe in anything, like technically all those different religions, but what it still brought them all together.
That part was still very unnecessary. Like, and this kind of has to do with one of the producers of the movie, because apparently he's very well known to do shit like this. Like there comes a part of the movie where they have no idea what to do, so they just kind of fill in with a bunch of bullshit, and that's exactly what happened in that part.
But I understand like what she was trying to say. Was it necessary in the movie? Maybe not.
It wasn't, because she's already explained that to Angela's dad when she went to go
she was explaining that different people have a different way of handling it.
And she did the same thing in the hospital scene.
And then at the hospital, she told him that all those people can come together.
Which is exactly what she basically said.
It was just like a continuation of what she said, because she's like, oh, look at all these different religions, and then, oh, we can all come together. So it was two separate things.
But still very super unnecessary.
But it kind of had to, they coincided with each other.
but very, very unnecessary.
Maybe I don't know, but
And as far as an editing standpoint, at some point her voice was not even synced to
the
like the
audio.
actual recording. Like they added it on and they didn't not really bother to sync it up correctly.
I didn't even notice. I swear I didn't even
So
notice.
that's one of the parts where I call so much bullshit. I literally like
Yeah, you
I was
turned to look
watching
at
and I'm just
me.
like
Yeah, I saw your. You made
like
that. You literally did the.
yeah, like I cringed, physically cringed in that part of the movie.
And I was like, what happened? But to be fair, I was also a little bit distracted because like the people in the seats in front of us, their seats were like moving. And I was like, what's going on?
What do you mean they were moving?
You didn't see
No,
the red seats in front of us?
no.
They were moving, I swear to you. And I thought I was going nuts. And then my nephew's next to me. He's like, look, they're moving. And I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy.
I totally did not see moving chairs. So
No,
right.
like they were just kind of like they would tremble and then they would kind of like go like that.
Wow.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see anything like that. Damn.
I thought I was going crazy. So a lot of the time when something interesting was happening, I was looking at the chair to see if it was moving.
Wow. I
And
did
so-
not see anything.
And so
like
my
that.
nephew told me they were moving, and I was like, "Is that because you could feel the vibration from where we were sitting?"
You felt the vibrations of the positions, the exorcist about to happen. That's what happened.
No, the chair in front of us.
The chair felt the exorcist about to happen.
Well, the chair did because it was connected to
Yeah,
the movie.
that's what I said.
Yeah, and then my chair kind of got it too.
You know why? Because the chair saw a chair get drilled to the floor, and I was like, "Oh my god, shit's about to hit the fan."
Because it's a chair that got drilled. So I thought the person sitting on it was. Anyway,
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Lost connection there for a second. But yeah, that was my bad. I'm sorry about that. There's gonna be a blank part, a little filler part, just like in the movie, the very unnecessary filler. You're gonna see something like that in the podcast.
That's something that has nothing to do with the movie.
There
please.
you go. We're making this spoiler review very relatable to the movie. Okay,
It's very
so
authentic.
yes. So super fast forward to the part the most craziest and the most out of control part of the movie, the exorcist part. So how we said that the priest was trying to get the Catholic Church to get the right people to do the ritual.
The guy shows up,
Yeah, everybody's ready.
and
The girls are-
everyone's like, he's here. And he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You're on your own. You can do it. Here's my book.
Yeah, like it was very like everybody's completely disappointed, but there was a very uplifting speech from the neighbor, the nurse that used to be a nun, saying that
Was gonna be a nun.
gonna be a nun, and how she went on saying like, "Oh, I understand why God put me here. I understand why God put me next to Him."
I understand why God put me next to the guy who never puts in his trash cans.
And she basically got the will to do it after she had that small little moment with the priest. And so they go in, they start with the original ritual, which is the Catholic, which is the one that's being done by the nurse. And right away goes bad after like not even 2 or 3 minutes of prayer. The demon pops up and starts calling her out on her being a whore, and because of the abortion and whatnot, and she breaks down. I'm like, oh, this is already gonna go bad. This is gonna go so
You were
bad.
supposed to be the hero.
Yeah. And then so she backs up for a bit, and then after that, I think it was
This movie was like a
it
roller
was
coaster.
yes, it was. That entire fucking thing was
Because
fucking.
then can I say it now?
Say it.
So then like as everything's falling apart, things are just like it's going downhill. It was so uplifting because the girl took over, and then it went down because she failed, and then the priest walks in.
No. It was the girl. It was the nurse, and then it was the pastor.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna count that part. He was not
The
interesting.
pastor, and then it was the voodoo girl.
No, all she did was the.
And then the priest
But
came
she didn't
out.
really talk to them, did she? She just
No,
did the
she
smoke
she
thing.
did her thing, and she said it was only the beginning. After those
Yeah, but she
three,
wasn't like addressing them. Like
well, that's what I'm saying. According to what her thing,
I'm talking about who was actually doing the possession, because then that thing started coming out of them, and then she did the
yeah, and she
with the
said that was
smoke,
she.
which looks so. I didn't like that part. I'm sorry.
That's Blumhouse. That was all Blumhouse.
I did not like that. That's that thing that came out of them. I was like, oh, there's the entity leaving the body, and then she has to do that thing with the smoke. So like she blows it towards
The fire pit.
the fire pit,
Yeah.
whatever, and then the smoke just like travels all the way and kind of to grab the thing, and it looked so.
And that's why she said this is merely the beginning.
Yeah, but
And then while passes, the priest comes
the
in.
priest comes in and you're like, yes, the day is saved. And then like not even like a few minutes into it,
I'd say like 2 minutes.
2
of him
minutes
praying.
into it.
Oh, he fucked up because he touched them. And in the beginning, they said the voodoo chick says, "Do not touch them."
Oh, he put his
Yeah.
head on the
Yeah.
on her.
The first thing he does.
Yeah. That's the first thing he did. Well, clearly, I mean, maybe that's why the Catholic Church said no, you can't do it.
And
He
this,
didn't know what he was doing.
and especially because there was a double possession.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why the church was like, yeah, no, we're not touching that.
That's kind of like mean, though, right?
But it kind of does make sense.
I know it makes sense, but that's kind of like, why didn't they just send 2 different people to 2 different places to do 2 different?
Because I assume because well, if you think back to the first Exorcist movie, there's 2 priests, 1 possession. We got 2 possessions in this movie, which is probably like the most coolest part of the entire, like the whole entire idea is awesome. So I am assuming because there's more, and because you typically in a possession there's more than 1 demon that they're fighting. So imagine 2 that's carrying like I don't know how many demons.
Yep.
So it's like so they're like nah, they're doomed.
Well, anyway, his head basically just
and went full, not like half Reagan. You know what I mean? Because Reagan does the he only went the half with his head turning backwards, just boom, dies, and we lose.
And that's when it goes downhill again.
Yeah, like.
And then what happens after that? I think that's when the dad, because they're like, pick one of us. Like, you have to pick one of us. One is gonna live and one is gonna die. So pick one.
Yeah, that's where those cool lines come in. Like, God played a trick on you.
And they're like, pick me, daddy, pick me.
That's where the demons. That's where the demons lay it on them. Like,
and so the dad
you choose one lives, one dies.
And the dad's like, I'm not gonna pick, and the mom's like, I'm not gonna pick either.
Mm-hmm.
So then he grabs the scarf, right?
Yeah, he goes to the daughter, scarf. Yes,
and that's when the daughter starts kind of like coming through, right?
Yeah, that was after a while of bickering and whatever, still trying, and then he goes uses the scarf as like, I guess that was like his last resort. Puts it on
it's working.
on Angela, and
it works
for a moment. It did,
but then the other one's like, "What about me, mommy?"
Yeah,
and that's
where the demons start doing their thing,
and the dad just has to go fuck it off.
Catherine's dead. Yeah. Catherine's dead. Keep in mind that the very beginning, Catherine's dad fucked up because they are supposed to follow certain rules. One of them was to take your shoes and socks off.
He didn't.
He did not. He was hardly a part of it because he was just huddled up in a dark corner somewhere. And when finally, towards the ending part, after the whole scarf, reaching out to Angela, possessed Catherine over here, starts doing her thing where it's like, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to die. Choose me. And then that's where the dad finally builds up the goddamn courage at the wrongest fucking time.
I pick you.
I pick you, Catherine, he says.
Catherine.
And to speed this part up, basically, they release the demons, kind of like a haunting kind of situation, the same way that whole smoke thing situation came out. The demons are released after like who knows how many fucking hours of after disaster after fucking disaster, the demons finally are exorcised. They exorcise the demons out of the twins, or not the twins, but the two girls, and then both of them collapse. And because the nurse, or the ex nun being a nurse,
Oh, the heart. Going back, when he puts a scarf on her, because their hearts are beating in sync.
yeah,
When he puts a scarf on her,
they were being monitored by the nurse.
yeah. When he puts the scarf on her, they start like beating separately, like differently.
No, they're both beating it like fast.
Yes. No, after he puts the scarf,
They were beating
on,
differently after that.
she
Holy
says
shit.
like that the heartbeat is different now. Like they're not beating in sync anymore. So that's how they know it's
Oh
working
shit! I don't
with
remember
Angela.
that part.
And then that's when the dad's like, "Oh, I just you," and then they both collapse. And then Angela opens her eyes and
Angela
Daddy.
makes it, and it goes back to the very beginning of the podcast. That blessing,
Mm-hmm.
because there's flashbacks of the blessing,
yeah.
and because of that protection spell, she makes it.
Well, also because it was a trick.
It was also a trick. It was trickery by the
Because-
demons.
Because then
They reversed
Catherine
it.
ended up like she didn't make it basically.
Yeah.
So it was that reverse thing. Basically, whoever they chose,
Whatever name they called out, they were gonna kill the opposite.
or
at least it looked that
not
way.
okay. So it's like, so whoever you choose is gonna live, but then who they picked ended up dying because it was like a. Well, that's what you get. You're being selfish. You're being like
the demons being demons. That's what they do. They lie, and they lied so cleverly, dude. Like they took
because think about it, like the parent, like what parent is gonna want to not save their kid, but at the same time, like that's being selfish.
That's another thing about this movie, that they took it to a certain level of real, of like they brought a real situation between a parent and a kid into the movie.
But the dad and the mom both, like the Angela's dad and Catherine's mom were like, no, like we're not gonna pick.
Yeah.
It was Catherine's dad who fucked up.
Yeah.
So it cost his little girl heart.
Yeah, it cost Catherine's life, and again, spoiler: Catherine does not make it in the movie. Again, on account of the demons being demons, they gave a deal, they delivered, but on their own terms.
And then the very last part, you didn't like that part.
After the whole, the demons being exorcised, there's like some implications of like the town being a little off.
I don't remember that.
It was very subtle. It wasn't like complete. It wasn't like a Halloween 2018, 2019. Well, yeah, I was getting to that, and then later on it goes back to the hospital with Chris. And then, to everybody's surprise, we get a very surprise guest at the end, who none other than Reagan comes in to visit the mother after years of her not knowing where she's at, if she's even still alive and stuff like that. And there's an embrace between them.
Yeah, because she hadn't heard anything from her. Remember, she says, "I don't know if I'll ever see my little girl again." I was like, "You're not.
Yeah, you're not.
Technically, you're not."
Yeah, but that part, like, again, it felt.
You said you didn't like. You said you
no,
didn't like
I
it.
liked.
I think it was just like a cute little tribute.
It was a good call out to the first one, but also it was
just like a little like.
It was nice.
It was nice. I thought that was nice. It was a nice little touch. It was just a nice little, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go here, but like with the Chucky movies, you know how at the end at some point like Andy comes out, and I thought that was cool because it was like a little thing, but then they decided to take it like.
What are you talking about? Andy's still in the show.
I know, but it was like, god damn, like it was just supposed to be a little cameo, like.
Friend till the end, Barbie. Friend to the end. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. But that pretty
They're
much
milking it.
Hey man, As
But
long
anyway,
as long as Annie's still alive, he will hunt down Chucky till the end. Yeah.
he will milk that franchise.
Anyways,
It's cool. It's
so
cool though. I did.
yeah,
Nothing against it. I do.
yeah,
Like it.
it's
I do
cool.
like it. It's just
I think that but that's how it ends.
so
A very
overall.
a nice embrace, unnecessary, a bit pushed, a bit forced,
A
but
little
nice.
cameo.
Yes, I know. It was nice, but it didn't have to be there.
So overall, like I'm gonna be honest, I'm glad I went to go see it, but I don't think I'd go see it again, or I don't think I'd watch it at home again.
I basically still have. It's been like 2-3 days since we've seen it, and I still don't know if like it's not It's not horrible.
No, it's not.
It's
just,
good, but it's not horrible. So
it's good, but it's not horrible.
yeah.
You mean it's not good, but it's horrible?
No, because it has its moments.
On a scale of 1 through 10, what would you rate it?
Me and your brother agreed with the same score, and we said like 7 out of 10.
It's a very, for me, it's a very solid 6.
Okay, so just one below.
Yeah, like I
so that
felt
that ending part to you didn't seal the deal, as you say.
I liked the tribute, but it's not enough for me to say the whole movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I liked it. I liked that ending. I liked the way that it ended.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was a nice ending, but it doesn't make up for the crap that we saw before.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like there was good parts of it, and there was unnecessary dumb parts.
For me, I hated the. I'm so sorry. Like I'm gonna go back to this, but I really did not like that smoke cloud. Like it just as soon as I saw that,
you hear that, Blumhouse?
Like, as soon as I saw that, like it looks so. And I know the movie's all fake, but it just looked extra fake. Like it wasn't even edited nicely. Like it's like smoke doesn't do that. I don't.
She said it, not me, but it looked.
Be honest, it did not look cool.
The idea of it was
the
cool.
idea was nice.
Yeah,
but it wasn't executed the way it should have been.
I can agree with you.
If she would have like I don't know, like fucking spit the smoke directly at it and it would have consumed it, that would have been great. But no, the smoke like traveled. It was like, hey, bro, what's up?
Yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of like a haunting
like,
situation.
Yeah, and it was unnecessary for me.
I can agree with you with that part.
In fact, they could have literally done away with all that scene.
The voodoo chick's turn.
Not the voodoo chick's turn. I'm glad she was there, but they could have done away with
every religion took a turn.
Yes, but I feel like they could have done away with that particular scene and made her do something else.
But then if they got rid of that scene, she wouldn't have been there to begin with.
Made her do something else, or executed it in a different way.
But that's the ritual. That's the only problem. It can't be any different because that's their ritual. Just like the Catholics,
the part looked ugly. I'm sorry, it looked ugly. It just was not appealing.
They need to change their ritual. Yeah.
No, they need to change the way it happened in the movie. So does that make sense?
When they come back with a new release, they need to fix that. They need to tweak that a little bit. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like a Sonic the Hedgehog situation where they
where they they fixed him. They fixed his face. I mean, that was good. So that's pretty much what I mean, I guess. Like
you need to work on that, Blumhouse. Like
you really
ASAP.
do. Like you really do.
And
other than that, it was fine. But that's what docked it down like an extra point.
But that's what I mean. There's parts of the movie that were crap, but there's also good parts of it. It's just a bummer and a trip at the same time. This movie. I'm not saying you shouldn't go watch it. I'm saying
you should,
and don't go with the reviews. Please do not. Just go there with an open mind and actually let it soak in.
Again, I'm glad I went to go see it. I don't regret going to see it. I just don't think I would I would go see it again. Like if somebody was like, "Oh my god, it just came out on Vudu or whatever," like let's watch it. I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good." I already saw it.
Are you paying for it?
Yeah, I already saw it. Yeah, I wouldn't pay to see it again, basically.
I don't know how. I don't know if I feel the same way.
I don't think I would even watch it if it came out like free again.
No,
because I already saw it, and I would just like nah. The original Exorcist, though, we would have a movie night and watch that. It'd be
I have
cool.
2 copies of that. By the
Yeah,
way.
so, but or maybe like, is it because horror movies are
In
just
fact,
different?
this podcast was supposed to be about the original, but on account of thanks to my niece, did not realize that this Friday is Friday the 13th. So guess what I'm going to be doing on Friday, or talking about on Friday. Anything else to shut this thing down? Big old sigh. Big
Watch
long
it,
sigh.
but don't go in with high expectations because
That is a total opposite of what I said. I'm like, don't listen to the negative, because there's so many negative reviews. Don't listen to them. Go watch it with an open mind.
That's what I'm
and
like,
have
but don't have
your own opinion.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like, don't have like these like high expectations, like it's gonna be a fantastic movie. That like isn't that's what I
Well,
mean.
you don't want to completely ruin it.
It's not. It's not a bad movie.
It's not.
It's not a bad movie.
not.
It's just, again, I'm glad I saw it, but it's not something that I can tell you
It's
like
not horrible either.
exactly. It's not something that I can tell you like, oh, I want to watch it again. Like,
It's not
oh my
amazing
God.
either.
It's not horrible, but it's not amazing.
Yeah,
it's worth watching, but it's not worth watching it more than once.
I can probably do it again
In theaters.
Not in theaters.
You would pay to see that again?
No, I watch it at home. I want to go.
Well,
to
maybe
theaters.
just because there's a lot of parts that we don't remember.
I would get it. I would get it, but I
it?
wouldn't go to watch it in theaters again. It's too expensive.
I wouldn't go to those extents.
I just have it in my collection at home, and just when I get the itch, I guess. I won't see it as much as the original one.
Mm-hmm.
It will never catch up. I can tell you that. Ooh, but that's
it was good. Just not.
It was not horrible.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as the reviews make it sound. So it's not as bad as the reviews make it sound, but it's not as great as it should have been.
Exactly. Again, don't listen to the reviews. Go watch it yourself. Make up your own opinion. And I think that pretty much concludes it.
Yeah, we gotta go pick up groceries.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go be adults now. We gotta go be adults. And you know how this goes, guys. Keep listening to the Buzzcast podcast on podcast on Spotify, if or wherever. What am I talking about? I'm only on Spotify. You can catch listen in to the Buzzcast podcast on Spotify, and or you can go ahead and watch the video version of this. Our
beautiful faces,
and the cool little frame, as I'm calling it, that I had especially for the review, and all the awesome background Halloween decorations, because Halloween is the best thing ever. You can watch all of that on YouTube, and or you can follow all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and X. I said X this time. I'm still not used to it, but it's X. And or you can see behind the scenes stuff and other kind of content that you're never gonna catch on Patreon/Booze&Chill, where you will see what was that?
There's a lot of ugly images and videos of me on Patreon.
you will catch.
You'll catch me in my pajamas.
You will catch her. You will catch my kids. The involvement of the last live that we had. There's behind the scenes of that, and just trust me when I say I've been putting in a lot of stuff in there for you guys to check out. So if you like what you see, you like what I do, you like what we are, what it is that we do here in the channel, and you want to keep supporting, go ahead and go on to Patreon/Booze&Chill. And with that, I shall bid you all adieu. I don't have any drink left, but we'll just pretend. If y'all keep watching, we are gonna keep drinking. Tap, and there's a little dot there. And I will see you guys in the next upcoming live video, Friday the 13th, giveaway winner, and of course, live beer review. We'll see you then. Peace out, guys. Later.